Damn you, Chalamet! You went and broke my heart last year with Call Me By Your Name, and now you've gone and done it again with Beautiful Boy. Different kind of heartbreak this time around, but you've got to stop doing this to me. Hey up guys! So continuing my coverage of the London Film Festival, today's film up for discussion is Felix van Groningen's Beautiful Boy. I saw this film just a few hours ago, but it rendered me a weepy mess, so I just wanted to talk about it whilst the wounds are still fresh. This film is based off the best-selling novels by real-life father and son David and Nick Sheff, and tells the story of an adolescent Nick's struggle with his addiction to crystal meth, as well as his abuse of other substances. Director Felix van Groningen collaborated with Luke Davies to write the screenplay, using both David and Nick's memoirs to craft this tragic, dramatic biopic. At the core, this film is about a father and son relationship being torn apart by substance abuse. This is simplistic but beautiful storytelling because it's something that's very common and a lot of families struggle with. And the whole father-child bond is something that's very universal, and pretty much anybody that watches this can relate to it in some sense. And it's a heart-wrenching film to watch because it's sensationally well performed by its actors. Steve Carell and Timothee Chalamet combined together in this film create something that, much like the film's content of substance abuse, is like a chemical reaction. They hit you with dizzying highs and crushing lows. Van Groningen expertly crafts this film with a sense of duality, showing us the good and the bad times, the past and the present, the young and the old, the father and son. Many scenes are often spliced with a flashback to when Nick was a young boy. They run parallel to each other, giving us a juxtaposition of what he was like then and what he's like now. Again, there's this duality. And this is what makes this film so painful. This sweet young boy who loved to draw, sing rock music, and surf slowly begins to decay, illustrating the all-consuming grasp that drugs can have on a person. If it can happen to this bright kid who got into 6 colleges, it can happen to anybody. Chalamet is nothing short of astonishing here. I've often found watching actors portray drug addicts that they can tend to oversell the addiction, but the way that Chalamet portrays the addiction is just so subtly nuanced. There's just little ticks that he gives every now and then. The way he holds a spoon or a bowl during a awkward conversation with his dad, it says so much, and you can see so much going on behind what's on the surface, and it's just transfixing to watch him perform in this. The journey we take with Nick is full of ups and downs, but Chalamet is so convincing that little moments like him playing with his little brother and sister in a sprinkler just make you feel so hopeful for him. But then a few scenes later, the voice in the back of his head starts to tell him that he needs a fix. And you can see the conflict and the struggle come through with his eyes and his physicality, but Chalamet never overdoes it. It might be a little premature to say this, but I think Timothée Chalamet has a decent shot of winning Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars next year. But I also felt just as much pathos for Steve Carell's David. It's easy to understand the shame an addict would feel, but it's another to put yourself into the shoes of a parent who's seeing their child spiral out of control. Carell is at his best here as a father trying desperately to fix a problem that's out of his understanding. He too feels guilt and shame that he could allow his son to become addicted to drugs. A scene in a cafe between the two of them is a masterful display of acting from both of them. You feel just how low Nick has sunk, and the weight of the shame and disappointment from his father just makes it feel like he's drowning. And even though his dad is just sitting across the table from him, he's still so far out of his reach and can't throw him that lifeline. He wants to save him, but he can't, making him feel like he's failed as a father. God, this film is full of just so much sorrow, but I can't praise the performances enough in this. I also adored Van Groningen's direction. There's a lot of beauty in the way that he frames a scene. The intimate close-ups of the characters carry a lot of the emotional heft. I like that for the flashbacks, he shot those using film, which contrasts nicely with the digitally shot scenes that we see in the present, making the past seem more idyllic and simpler. Grainy film works really well to give you a feeling of nostalgia. As for negatives, the only thing that I could really think of was a nitpick, and that was that at the beginning of this film, David gives a description of Nick to a hospital, saying he has shoulder length brown hair, he's about 6 foot, and he has green eyes. But shortly afterwards, we get a flashback scene with a much younger version of Nick, who's played by the actor Jack Dylan Grazer, who you guys might recognize from the movie It, and he clearly has brown eyes. And yeah, It is just a nitpick, but I spotted it and it did bother me, but it's a flaw that I can forgive. Guys, in the end, this film really touched me. The subject matter of this film is handled honestly and sensitively. The power of this film comes from its honesty. It's so raw and relatable because essentially it's about a family struggling with a disease. Whether it's drug addiction, cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, liver disease, or any other affliction, what it boils down to is watching an everyday family cope with something destructive. It's easy to see yourself and your family in this film. It's a beautifully made film that uses a non-linear structure to perfectly punctuate the melancholy and the pain for those that are watching. And it's spearheaded by two Oscar-worthy performances from Carell and Chalamet. Right, let's ask those three questions. Would I watch this again? Oh my God, yes. Even though this film left me an emotional blob, it's a film that made me feel alive. It's not a feel-good film, it's a feel-sad film, but one that I really enjoyed watching. Would I recommend it for you guys? This is an absolute must-watch. It is essential viewing, which brings me nicely into the third question. What score do I give it? Obviously, this film is a 10 out of 10 for me, but also it gives me great pleasure to give it the highest classification that I can give a film, and that is that Beautiful Boy is a film that you need to see before you die. I haven't said that about any other films this year until I saw this, but this truly is something that everybody should watch, okay? Go and see it, guys. There you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on Beautiful Boy. But of course, this is just one bloke's opinion. I want to know yours. What did you guys think of Beautiful Boy? And my quick question for you guys today is, what is your favourite Timothee Chalamet performance? Let's be honest, most people are going to say either Beautiful Boy or Call Me By Your Name. But who knows, maybe there's some Chalamet work out there that's gone on unnoticed and needs some appreciation. Whatever you think, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. If you guys do like this content and want to be updated on all my London Film Festival reviews, be sure to click that subscribe button. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Stardust, all that information is in the description link below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hearfield, and I'll see you next time.